A fashion model, a girl with one of the most glamorous jobs in industry. Her every workday taken up by the exciting business of helping to develop the new dresses, suits, gowns, and other garments that make American women the best dressed in the world. Just about everyone involved in this fashion industry regards each new day as a challenge, and challenging it is. For as in few other industries, one bad guess, one failure to interpret women's tastes correctly can lead to disaster. But fashion extremes come and go, while fundamental good taste and artistry always prevail. So the people here at Vogue Patterns continue to service many of the 40 million American women who sew at least some of their own clothes. From the original prototypes, they trace master patterns on heavy paper. Then they use black tape to emphasize each line on the big sheets, which will be photographed to produce the plates for the high-speed printing presses. The presses, while big and fast, are gentle enough to handle the tissue-thin paper required for patterns. Using modern industrial assembly line techniques, even a product as fragile as a dress pattern can be mass-produced with accuracy and economy. After being printed, the sections of each pattern are cut apart, trimmed and perforated, hundreds at a time, then are collated. All the sections that will make up one garment are brought together for insertion into an envelope. If there's one piece left over or one piece short, the whole run will be rechecked. Home sewing, it's estimated, now accounts for 1/5 of all women's garments. More and more homemakers, instructed at training courses like those provided by the Singer Sewing Machine Company, maintain very smart, self-made wardrobes. But whether the clothes they wear are produced at home or in the efficient factories that turn out most wearing apparel, women require something more than clothing to keep them beautiful and in style. They require what are known as accessories. And this is a report on some of the industries employing millions of persons that provide those varied accessories.
We start with jewelry. It could be a glamorous diamond necklace, custom made at the direction of a wealthy customer, as here at Harry Winston's fabulous establishment in New York. Or it could be much less expensive diamond engagement rings, which actually constitute the bulk of production even at such famous name jewelry houses as this. Three young ladies with an old idea devote a lunch hour to wishful window shopping. Between them and the shoppers who are ready to buy now, the jewelry industry might be said to have just about the happiest customers in the world. Another important accessory is footwear. Unlike her sisters in many countries abroad, the American woman is not limited to 1 or 2 pairs of shoes. Generally, she has a separate pair for every occasion and mode of dress. This young lady tries on a pair of kaibabs, a Hopi Indian shoe which the Hopis got from the Spaniards, who picked it up from the Moors, who brought it along from Asia, where the style is thought to have originated thousands of years ago. There's no limit to the sources of inspiration tapped by the manufacturers of women's clothes and accessories. Hats, for example. Everyone is familiar with the wide variety of shapes and sizes available, and there's equally wide variety in the price tags attached. Here at Lily Dashay's Swank Manhattan Salon, costly materials, lavishly applied, and individual attention by expert milliners comes high. But in the nearby garment center of 7th Avenue, mass production methods bring prices for the average woman way down, without sacrificing chic. Here at Beechhurst Hats Incorporated, one of the many plants helping to account for the production of some 100 million women's hats each year, creation of a hat begins with the designer. She is the company's eyes and ears, as it were, and always those eyes and ears are trained on the products of the uptown salons, as well as the salons across the Atlantic. From what they produce, she must decide which styles will catch on, and she must do it in time to ride the fashion tide before it ebbs. Once the decisions have been made, they are almost irrevocable. For production begins months ahead of the season. Straw braids, mostly synthetic straws these days, are sewn round and round into basic hat bodies. The hat body, with much of its final shape already built into it, is steamed on a wooden block for more exact shaping. The style block is a Chinese puzzle sort of affair that can be taken out in pieces so as not to stretch the hat out of shape during its removal. Next, the hat is trimmed of excess straw and worked into the lines that, from the very beginning, it was intended to have. A little steaming sets the folds, and another hat is ready for the addition of headband, lining, and trim. Moving along through the world of women's accessories, we come to a point where the paths of men's and women's fashions cross. The product being made here at the Pioneer Suspender Company in Darby, Pennsylvania is belts. Except for their widths and the types of leather used, men's and women's belts are much alike. Slit into uniform strips, the leather is stained along the edges like this. The buckle is attached. For many women to whom a belt means beauty, not utility, the buckle can be more important than the belt. The quest for beauty, what that has meant to the cosmetics industry. Perfume by the gallon goes into the mixtures, in which are blended, according to closely guarded secret formulas, all the powders, creams, lotions, and other cosmetics and toiletries required by the feminine population. But the most spectacular phase of operations here at the Avon Products plant in Suffern, New York, is in the packaging of the products. They go into jars, tubes, boxes, and bottles, untouched by hands. After the caps are tightened, labels are applied. The company turns out many millions of units each year, and only with methods like these could such production possibly be achieved. Here comes a parade of powder boxes. Girls spot check them to make sure the machines are filling each one with the proper amount of face powder. Then the covers go on, after which each box will be stamped to indicate the shade of powder it contains.
Because of modern manufacturing and distribution methods, no longer does Milady need a fortune in order to feel like $1 million and to look like $1 million too. For the cosmetic manufacturers, in addition to improving the quality and bringing down the prices of their products, also go to great lengths to educate customers in the ways of playing up their best points, so as to utilize the gifts of nature to the greatest possible extent. This is the Hudnut Dewberry Salon in Manhattan, where we find a group of young women, members of Sigma Alpha Sigma, the national sorority of white-collar girls, attending a lecture by a makeup specialist. One girl is selected from the audience to receive the full treatment. The expression, putting on her face, has become part of the language. But, as the expert points out while she works, there's a right way and a wrong way of putting on a face. And makeup not properly applied is less attractive than no makeup at all. The modern American woman has beautifying facilities, products, and services never attainable by a Cleopatra, with all her wealth and all her slaves. And so determined is industry to keep our women in front of the beauty parade that even companies producing items not ordinarily associated with style or beauty are converting those products into fashion accessories. Here at the May Manufacturing Company on Long Island, New York, eyeglass frames are fabricated in almost as wide a range of colors and styles as you'll find in shoes or hats. It has been found that glasses can actually enhance appearance. Movie stars have made dark glasses in attractive frames the distinctive mark of their profession. With a decorative pattern cut into the frame, sparkling rhinestones can be cemented in place. A number of other types of stones are also used to decorate the colorful plastic frames, making it possible to match one's eyeglasses to any occasion, any ensemble. Eyewear, a newly coined word that takes its place alongside footwear, sportswear, and all the other wares. And perhaps a similar word will be invented to describe another essential item that also has gone fashionable in a very big way, the watch. Here in the design department of the Elgin National Watch Company, talented men and women turn out new watch styles constantly. Some of them too futuristic ever to be marketed, but occasionally germinating an idea that starts a whole new trend. The designers take their ideas to master craftsmen who create handmade samples for study by other members of the department and by the committee responsible for selecting new watch designs. Here, the design committee considers the latest innovations to be suggested. Like the auto manufacturers, watchmakers now have on their drawing boards designs that are years ahead of present models. By adding styling to the traditional accuracy and dependability of the watch, the industry has found broad new fields to conquer and has become one of the many industries that contributed to this picture. It's the picture of a woman of poise, charm, and grace, assured by the knowledge that her gown, coiffure, shoes, makeup, evening bag, and other accessories are the most beautiful obtainable. From the tip of her toes to the top of her head, everything is just right, and consequently, so is her frame of mind. Behind each well-turned-out American woman stand many millions of the people of the varied industries that made her wardrobe, her comfort, even her very fragrance, what they are. At home, at a party, at work, in office or factory, she is the envy of women the world over. And keeping her that way is a constant challenge to American industry and a steady source of new jobs and prosperity for the nation.